Hello, my name is Jody and this is Quilt Squirrel, and as you have probably seen in the title of the video, I'm going to start Godzilla. I'm so excited. I love doing these portrait quilts. I love them just a little bit more than making a scrap quilt, just a little bit more. So I'm always excited when I start one. So I had a viewer ask me, I think it was 2 videos ago, she wanted to see my jaws, a closer up picture of it. So I took him down. He usually hangs up here on this, behind my door, on this big wood thing. But here is, let me make sure my information's not showing. Okay, this is my jaws. I put them in the fair in the unfinished object select or division, whatever that is, and I got 5th place. But this is my jaws, and you can see it is, I'll get a little closer, all the different fabrics that are fused together. So the teeth were a bear to do, but that's my jaws. And so when I do my portrait quilts, I usually select the number of values from like a white to black. So like on my, I think you can see up here, this is my Emmett Kelly. So I've got all these different fabrics in here, and it goes from a light to a dark. And so when I'm doing the portrait quilts, I got to figure out, do I want to make, I try and make it a minimum of 6 values. I can go up to 9, but once you get past 9, you're getting into a lot of pieces and a lot of tiny pieces. So between 6 and 9, I try and stay in. So I use Photoshop elements to do it. I've tried Affinity Designer. That's a good one too. But any kind of software, oh, the dust in here, that will allow you to take a picture, change it to black and white, and then posterize it. And you can, I'll go like 6, and I'll say, okay, is it better in 6 or is it better in 7? 6, 7. Or is it better with 7 or 8? And I'll do that and figure out which one, you know, if it doesn't really add anything, if I go from 7 to 8, I'll stay with 7. So my Godzilla is a really dark, and it didn't make any difference when I went from 6 through 7, 8, 9. And so I'm just doing him with 6 values. So I think this one was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wolfman was 6 fabrics also. And so the reason I have him up here is my number 6 fabric for Godzilla and for him is just the background, just plain black fabric. But what I did with him and what I'm hoping to do with Godzilla is, this is actually all the background, but I fused in these fabrics here. And so you get the illusion that he's wearing a shirt. That makes sense? So in my, let me throw this up here, my Godzilla. So, oh, I also had a lady ask me what kind of printer I had because it was so large. And it's really just 8 pieces of paper taped together. So, oh, and you can also use Microsoft Word to change the values to light to dark. But with Microsoft Word, you only have 6. 6 is the highest you can go. So if you wanted 7 different fabrics, you can't use Microsoft Word, but you can do it, Microsoft Word. Just saying. But in order to get this to print large, I save my, after I take the picture into, say, Photoshop Elements, I change it to black and white, and then I go to, losing my voice, sorry, adjustments, and I posterize it. And then I select how many values I want my picture to be. I save it as a PDF, and then when I go to open it, I have Adobe Acrobat Reader. I think it's Reader. It's the free one. I just open with it, and it pops up a box, and it lets me change it to print as a poster, and I increase the percentage like 250%, and it'll tell you how big it'll print out to be and how many pages. And so I always aim for like 18 to 22 to 24 to 26, 28, somewhere around in there. But that's how and it'll tell you how many pages you have. And so it lets me print on all these different pieces of paper that I can tape together. So I hope that answered that question. So like I said, what I'm trying to do is I get my Godzilla picture again. When I do him, I haven't traced this power line yet. And what I'm hoping to do is have all of this black. In here will be the background fabric, black. But maybe from here, maybe up to here, I'm going to use a lighter, like a medium gray. So it looks like these are all exploding and there's light, because there's light shining up on his chest. And so in order to show the power line and all that, I'm going to put a lighter gray behind it. And then maybe have it come through here, and it'll come underneath him so you can see his leg and his tail. So that's what I'm hoping to do with this sort of trickery. And so let me move the camera down and I'll show you my setup here. Move it down. Okay, so I have my laptop here and I keep my picture close, and I have a light box that my husband made me. It's, I don't know, maybe 2 foot by, I don't know, 26, 27, but it's got 2 LED lights that I plug in, and then I just painted it white, and because I figured the white would reflect the light better than wood. And then this is just a piece of plexiglass sitting on top. And so this is my work surface. And so when I do my portrait quilts, I use light Steam 2, and I bought this thing like 12, 15 years ago, and I got the 12 by, who knows how big this is, but I've still got a lot in here. And so what I do is I will cut me out just a piece of it, and it's got paper on both sides, and there's a fusible in between. And I save all my little cutoffs because Steam Seam's not cheap. And you'd be surprised when I need a little piece, and I can just come into my little box here and get it. And so put this back in here, which I had to do with this. Okay, so what I do is I have my light box underneath, and I will trace and I will number. So here's like my number 1 is out here, and then next to it is a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, and then this big area is 6. And when you use Steam, you want the reverse image because you're going to fuse your pieces to the back of your fabric. So you want the reverse because I want Godzilla facing this direction, not that direction. So what I have to do is I take a real fine Sharpie because I can see it, and I trace all my little pieces. I don't know if you can see all of them, but I trace them. And then I flip it over to the back and lay it down. And now I can take my steam seam. I can find, this is my number 3 pieces. And then I will find my number 3s. I will lay it down and trace it. And so when I go to fuse this to the back of my number 3 fabric, I just peel off the back of it. And so here you can see I was doing number 4 and I didn't have enough, so I had to get a smaller piece for this little piece. I didn't want to have to cut another section off. And I get smart too because I always end up with pieces that I can't figure out where they go. And so you can see I write on here, this goes to his shoulder. These, like, there's the back. These pieces are on his neck. You got to do this. And so you probably noticed that on some of these, I've got little dots. Can you see the little dots? That's because this number 3 fabric is next to either a 4 or a 5 or a 6. And so I add a little extra so this piece can slide under a darker piece. So this 3 will slide under 4, 5, or 6. And so I do that to all of these. So it takes a little time, and then you can see this is my number 1, and I just condense them all because not cheap, and fabric's not cheap either. So I have all my pieces drawn out. This is Godzilla. So the next thing I have to do is select my fabric. And so when I do my fabric, I will look at the picture and I'll say, okay, 1 is my lightest, and I'll look at the 1s, and then I'll look at my dark, so I'm doing white to black. And then when I go to select my number 2 fabric, I'll look on here, where's my number 2? What does it look like? You know, the value, you know, is it real light or is it getting darker? With Godzilla, he's getting dark quick. So I don't have too many light fabrics. 1 and 2 will be my really light, but 3, 4, 5, and 6 are dark. So I gotta keep that in mind when I select my fabric. So let's go pick fabric. So I'm gonna move the camera around and hopefully it won't come off like it has before. So then there's my tub. Okay. Okay, this is my tub of fabric, and I try and keep it light to dark. So here's my background fabric. And so I'm pretty sure white is going to be the back of his scales at the very tip. So I've got to pick 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. I got to select 4 fabrics. So, and in these, I also save the bits and pieces that I've cut off from previous projects. You'd be surprised how many times if I use this fabric and I just need a little tiny piece, I've got it. So, okay. So maybe I need to be a little bit closer so we can see the fabric a little bit better. I think that'll work. Get you a little straighter. Okay, so we know this is 6, and then this is 1. So 2 can't be too light. So let me go look at my 2 fabric, or my lighter fabrics. I've got some music fabric. Do I like that one? Let's see. Maybe if I lay this here. 6 and 1. Do I have something in here that might work? That's kind of light. Will that work? Maybe a little bit dark. But we'll leave it here for just a second. I kind of like that. But this, I was kind of thinking of using behind the power line. So I'm going to set this one aside because I have a lot of it. So we got 1, let's see, we'll lay this one next to it. 1, we'll say 2, and 3. What do we want? 1, 2. Ooh, I like this fabric. So I like how that could be 6, that could be 5. I like that. So that could be 6, 5, 4. That'd be 3, maybe 3. I need a 2. Let's see. Ooh, I like this fabric. We'll put that there. Ooh, that's definitely 5. 5. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How do I feel about that? I kind of like that. Or do I want to put the music next there? So you can see how my values are going from light. Let's see. I could do... I kind of like that one. So this might be Godzilla. So this might be fabric 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And what I can do is I can take a picture of it with my phone and go into the filter of the photo and make sure it looks good. But as you can see, the very tips of his, let me get the picture here real quick. So the very tips of his scales are white, but then it immediately starts going into the darker. So I don't need to really gradually do that. I kind of like that. So here's my Godzilla fabric. And so next thing I'll do is I will iron these, peel off the back paper of my pattern pieces. I'll just peel off this back paper and iron it so that then I can cut these pieces out and start putting them together. So, move the camera back up. So, I have I'm gonna trip over. I'm still cutting that fabric, that scrap fabric that lady gave. So here is my Godzilla. So the next video, leave a comment if you have any questions, something that I was confusing about, and I'll try and show it the next video. But the next video, I think I'm going to start fusing my pieces together. And so now I have to figure out if I want to start with my 6 and slide like the 5 under, or the 4 under the 5, or do I want to start with my 1 and then start with 2, 3, 4, 5, that type of thing. I think I'm going to start with my dark and just kind of slide under the lighter fabrics as they go down in value. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to do. It just depends on the mood, you know. But Godzilla. So I hope you're having a great day. It's beautiful here in Southern Ohio, and I'm starting a portrait quilt. So I'm so excited. So I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now. Stay safe.